Welcome into this episode of Supernovas Unlimited. I'm Avery Howard, joined by Director of Communications and Media Relations for the Supernovas, Geoff Exstrom.
That is me.
That is you. And today we have a very special guest as we are excited to bring some more behind-the-scenes looks of this inaugural season for the Supernovas. President Diane Mendenhall, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, we were just discussing a little bit before this how it was about this time last year that professional volleyball announced that Omaha was going to have a team. Just from the time that you were named president, this team got a name. We found out where this team was playing. Just what's been kind of the behind the scenes of what this journey has looked like for you?
Well, it's been quite a journey. As I tell our staff, we're building this airplane while we're flying it. So that's the fun part, and that's the thing that excited me most about taking this opportunity. Number one, just the purpose around it, and just the opportunity to let women play in the United States and bring them home. But also just the opportunity to have people like Geoff come on board and just to formulate the structure that would help lift up this team. And I think that's what's been a lot of fun. And then from that, taking the mission outward to the people.
Well, we knew Nebraska is a place where everyone loves volleyball, so I think we knew that the state would embrace this team. But do you feel like from the expectations that maybe there were no expectations to what it's become and what we've seen it become this season, just what's been the most special piece as you've seen this city and the state just kind of wrap their arms around this team and figure it out, like you said, as it's going for the first time?
Nebraska obviously is the epicenter for volleyball in the country. With that said, that'll get you to a certain point as far as filling the CHI. And then back to my earlier point, it took people like Geoff and people on our team, from Andy to Jacob to Nick to everyone, to build this and bring the people. With that said, our whole goal was to let the people of Nebraska, the people of Omaha, fall in love with this team. And I think the big surprise to us is how quickly that happened. So that inaugural match where you have over 11,000 people that are there witnessing this team for the first time. And when it hit that fifth set, I'll never forget turning to Grant Gallo, who is our VP for strategic operations, and going, oh my gosh, they've already fallen in love with this team. And that it gives me chills to this day, because that was our goal, and it happened so quickly. And that's just, number one, indicative of the team. And then number two, indicative of the people and the fans. And that's what we do in Nebraska is, we rally around a purpose and a cause, and nothing better than volleyball. And then just everything from all of our partners, from all of you at Herdat to, our corporate partners and sponsors, have just the outpouring of love towards this team happened even more quickly than we could have hoped for.
What do you feel like some of those challenges in the early stages of putting that whole product together have been? Like you said, you've kind of tried to put the thing together as you guys are flying it. I think everyone would agree it's been a great first couple of months of this season, right? But what have been some of those things where it's like, okay, maybe we didn't expect that, but we're gonna have to figure this out now, and we kind of have a groundwork, we have our footing a little bit, so we can perfect this in the future for this league?
I think number one, it was just that brand awareness that even though Nebraska loves its volleyball, it's the opportunity that we had to really go out and pound the pavement and create that brand awareness. I remember walking in a parade, and I remember people coming up going, what are the Supernovas? And so you had that, and then all of a sudden there was Volleyball Day in Nebraska. And we were this real thing, and we went out to the state fair following that, and you had people actually yell, go Supernovas. So you hit these little hurdles along the way thinking, will we get to that next step? And then once again, you have that inaugural match and you set the U.S. attendance record for pro volleyball. Well, what's next? So it's just building on that success. And I think that's the thing that every day we meet at 9:30 every morning, and we strategize with our entire team. And number one, what's right ahead of us? Number two, what's down the road? And how do we just do that 1% better, 10% better? And our goal really, we look at, okay, what's 5% better? And just those incremental wins that we can get to just keep improving this product.
Yeah, I mean, Diane, I have a couple questions for you. One, can you believe you were hired in July and it's now April?
No, I think so. I'm like 9 months, right? Yeah. It's crazy when I reflect back that 11 months ago, I didn't know anything about this. Right. I lived in Lincoln, had a home in Lincoln, had a great job, and this wasn't even on my horizon. And wow. Pretty cool, huh?
It is. And a follow-up question, I thought of it as you were talking just about getting Omaha to fall in love with this team. I mean, with any startup, and more specifically sports teams, that's probably one of, if not the hardest thing to do, is have your home market fall in love with the team and like have a brand that people recognize. And being able to have that success so early on, what has that allowed the organization to, I guess, bounce off of that and focus on other things after maybe accomplishing and getting that foundation settled like really quickly?
Well, first I want to reflect back on that foundation, because once again, kudos to Gina Mancuso-Prasowski and Natalia Valentin-Anderson, because they were out there with us, and they really helped give us that basis for where we are today, and then taking that forward, and then looking forward too. Because of all this, we have the Professional Volleyball Federation Championship that we've been awarded, and that's that next big thing. So while we're still building the airplane, all of a sudden we've become this, almost this aircraft carrier too, as well, that we're bringing along with it. And that just makes it fun. And just to have that opportunity and that affirmation from the league and from basically the entire country that we're trusting Omaha to have this historic event. I mean, think back to the first Super Bowl, and we get that opportunity. And I think that's what's so exciting.
I mean, what's been special about this first half of the season for you? What are some moments that you're kind of hanging on to of like, wow, this is really cool? I go back to that March 16th match. Yeah. I don't even remember who we were playing, but it was the night before St. Patrick's, and we had that, the Nova green, and just number one, the amount of, I remember I went to get some coffee early in the afternoon, and I was down in the old market, and people were wearing green shirts, and the luck of the Nova, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And then you get into that venue, and I'll never forget, we were singing, it was Sweet Caroline that was playing between sets, and the volume was just unbelievable. And you look up in the stands in that moment where I see my 90-year-old mother sitting there, but then I see these little girls, and I actually sent the video, took a video of that happening. I sent it to my sister in California, and she said, wow, those young voices. Mm-hmm. And you don't even think about that, because you go to a sporting event and people are singing the Sweet Caroline, and it's adult voices. Yeah. And we just had these sweet voices that were just belting it out, mm-hmm. and I'll just never forget that moment.
That's a great point. It's something that's interesting that she said that. I love that too, because, we talk about this so often. I remember when we were kind of trying to like piece together that brand. The biggest thing that we were presented in the very beginning that I was like, whoa, it was like, this is the first league without a W in front of it. Like, this is the league, right? And I think to hear that, but then to see it like visually, like I don't know if we'll grasp it until this first season is really over, and we like, okay, wow, like it's done. We did it. We got through the first few steps, and like now, like you said, what's next? But do you feel like we've grasped that, like we're the change and the impact that this season has had for you, like you said, those young voices and young girls, or even just young athletes in general, and like what they get to continue to look forward to? This isn't just a one-time thing.
Right. It's not. And that's so well said too, because we don't have a W in front of us. Mm-hmm. This is not women's volleyball. This is volleyball. Mm-hmm. And that's my entire career in athletics. That's something that has just somewhat it kind of grinds on me when I hear that, because we don't go, oh, yay, men's football. We say football. Mm-hmm. And so that's what's exciting. And we don't have that, that counterpart that people are comparing us to. So, and now I'm forgetting the rest of your question.
It just was about how cool it's going to be that, these girls get to look forward to. It's not just like a few games this season, or it's like kind of not a fluke deal. This is now ingrained in what's going to be something they continue to look forward to.
And you're right. When you're selling this, you have no proof of concept.
Right.
And so you're selling kind of pie in the sky, and hopefully people love volleyball. But it's just, once again, it goes back to the wonderful partners that we have, like you all here at Hurrdat, that help us, establish that brand. And, we will never rest on our laurels. We will never rest. We have to improve every single match. And that's what partnerships like yours helps us do. And, these little girls, we have to keep them coming back. And I say little girls, but it's interesting too, reflecting back on my family. My son-in-law and my daughter were here from Florida and attended the match, and they just said, there were more men here with their daughters or guys' night out than we ever thought that we would see. And so it's just fun how it's embracing, and that's what we have to do when we market. It's tough because you're not going for a specific, oh, here's our age group, here's our gender, here's our demographic, we are everything. And that gives you a lot of opportunity to build, and we will not stop.
We talk about the brand and like building the brand and then trying to wonder, are people going to fall in love with it? Like, we know they like volleyball, but will they embrace it? And we've seen them do that, but I think it's because of the special players that make up this team. I know I'll talk to players about this, and obviously I don't hit the road with the team, but I have a hard time believing there's a team that has more fun than this group. And I think the crowd and the audience can feel that energy, whether, they're up or down. They never feel like there's a dull moment. What does make this group and this team just so special in the short time that they've been together?
That's a great observation, because it truly is, when teams win championship or they do well, it's because you create this unconditional trust, this unconditional love, where it's just, all for one and one for all, and that's what you see in the bench, and that's what you see happening, and it just reverberates through the arena, and I think that just pulls in everyone too. And it's once again, it's a credit to these women, these amazing women. I watched a video this morning. We had, I don't know, Geoff, how many players that went out to a assisted care facility, and they're in their walkers and with their chairs, and they got balloons, and they're playing volleyball, and and then I'm going to leave here, and we're going to go to one of our corporate partners, and we're going to have an event there. And I think 2 nights ago too, they were at a club volleyball, and so they're getting out there and they love it, but they also they love each other, and they also understand what they're entrusted with too. This is history, and this is, it's their responsibility to help take this forward, and they take that seriously. And a lot of that is just, once again, it goes back to their character and who they are, and that's how this team was formed, because of who they are.
Right. You kind of mentioned a little bit, but the championships will be here in Omaha. Kind of walk us through what went maybe into that and why that's such an exciting thing to happen here in Nebraska.
It's an extremely exciting course. Once again, we wish we would have known this 9 months ago. With that said, that just makes it more fun. So, we put in requests for a proposal. So the RFP, we submitted that, and kudos to our team, because in 2.5 days we put together, the 17-page proposal of why it should be in Omaha. And, once again, thank you to all of you for helping us and put that out there. And then we had to wait our week, and then we were finally awarded that bid. So it's a phone call that I'll never forget. And but with that said, be careful for what you wish for. Yeah. So our team was very excited, and then this look of almost horror in their face. But it's really exciting, and what the league is doing too. We have a weekly call with the league every Monday, and then we have our separate team calls. But it's a bullet train right now, and managing that at the same time we manage the season, and also looking into 2025. This morning, you're talking to agents about potential players and things of that nature. So it's all different areas are moving, but the championship is the golden nugget at the end.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, Diane, what goes into planning all that? Because most people, they just see the end product and what they get to experience. What goes behind the scenes of trying to organize all of that? Because being in the midst of that right now, it's a lot.
It really is. And I think, kudos to the league for the infrastructure that they have to support us in that. But I want to give kudos to our team, because, Geoff is taking on, all the media and all that communication in that aspect. And then you have Nick that's spearheading all the social media aspect. Andy, who's done an amazing job with the in-venue. And then you've got Murphy and Hoagie that are out there with the sponsorships. And then Jacob, the mastermind of all the ticketing too, and all the technology, and just how this works as we sequentially launch this out to our season ticket holders, and then the other league teams get their opportunity at the tickets, and then we'll launch it to the general public. So it's a sophisticated operation. We're lucky too, because a lot of us have experience in this, having, taken a team to the Final Four and experience those championships, or put on those championships. Relying on that has been helpful as well.
There's another big weekend I want to touch on. I know championships is close, but there's something before that. I think it's April 20th or April 27th, the volleyball day, Nebraska, when you have all the colleges that will be in attendance, or fingers crossed they can make it. We talk about, building this league and seeing it grow year after year. I find it very exciting that, that we've talked about how important it is that this professional volleyball league has come to the States, not only for the girls that, have left and been able to now come back, but for also the girls that are in college and now they have a really quick pipeline. And we know we have a class of rookies this year that got to experience that, but we've seen the game of college volleyball grow so much. I mean, saw it at Memorial Stadium this year. But how exciting do you think it'll be for, the girls that are playing college volleyball, that are creating these fandoms at the schools they play for? We kind of saw it in women's basketball this year. Now they're going to go move on to a professional league that, they already are bringing so many fans with them. And I think it's going to continue to grow this league and grow the excitement. But when you think about that and just what the possibility can be, and just, I think, the more eyeballs on this league, does that excite you as well?
It does tremendously. When I was growing up, the thought that you would actually get like a full ride scholarship was just like, oh my gosh, you got one of those. And now when you look at, with the entrance of NIL and the opportunity to have those sponsorships, and then, I think about our local athletes here, whether at Creighton or Nebraska, that have these NIL deals and have these sponsorships, and they can just roll those with them into their professional career. I think that's why we're sitting in a great place in Omaha, is because they can stay right here within the state and grow what they already have, plus we can help them then just basically catapult that. And we're giving them a tremendous business opportunity that will set them up for life. And I told our players when I met with them, really for the first time when they were down playing Athletes Unlimited in Arizona, I said, my responsibility as a president is, number one, my goal is at the end of the season, every single one of you wants to be a supernova the next year. If we've done that, we've done everything right. The championships will come if you can do that right. But also, one of the responsibilities I have is to help you for life. So whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever, career-wise, that's what we also have to do, is make sure that we're playing long ball here. It's not about just getting to the next match. It's not getting to the end of the season. This is long ball for them. And that's part of the responsibility that we have as a franchise too, is position them for success in life.
What does that look like as an organization right now? How are you guys able to do that for your players currently and then in the future?
I think part of it right now too is number one, we're just the event that we're going to right now, where we're going over to HDR, who's a corporate sponsor of ours, and HDR right now is really, and all the engineering firms, where it's Olson or any of them, are looking at how do we get more females into engineering? How do we do that? So we're a perfect launching pad for that. But introducing the women to those CEOs, those marketing reps, so they get to know the companies here. We're also looking at, they all also have the opportunity to make earn sponsorship dollars. And part of what we're doing too is what interests you, so that we pair you with a company that could hopefully help you in later in life too. Are there opportunities that you can work with them on that will help, number one, grow your brand, number two, help just grow your experiences. So things of that nature. And then our whole human performance team too, where we have the nutritionists and the sports psychologists and all of that too, with helping them just navigate their own personal wellness.
I love that. Well, before we invite some of the players up here and kind of wrap up here, is there anything that you want the fan base to know as we kind of wrap up the end of the year here?
I just think thank you. Thank you so much, because this is so Nebraska, this united sense of purpose that we have. And, it goes back to the players and the team and the staff and everybody that surrounds all our corporate partners. But the fans have just the outpouring, the support, they're buying the gear, they're cheering, and they definitely can will this team to win. And we need them. You mentioned, the saluting all the volleyball teams in Nebraska on the 20th. that'll just be so much fun. The volleyball community has been so supportive, and then the 26th will parlay that into volleyball after dark.
Yeah, CBS.
So, on CBS, which will be
26th.
huge. We once again, the eyeballs of the country will be on Omaha, Nebraska at volleyball day after volleyball after dark, and that'll be a fun experience. And we have some special guests that'll be really fun to see there as well.
Can't wait. Well, we thank you again for joining us today.
Well, thank you. It's been my honor to be here, and I can't thank you all for what you do for us.
Well, we are back, and we're joined by Paige Briggs and Natalia Valentin-Anderson. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Before we kind of get into the thick of just the season and playing for the Supernovas, we kind of wanted to take you guys way back to like what got you guys into volleyball in your early playing days. So if you guys could give us like just a little snippet of why volleyball and how this whole journey started for you guys.
I can go first.
Yeah.
My mom plays beach volleyball, and I've always just watched her play. And then I originally was a soccer player, and then I got invited to some volleyball camps, and started loving it and just took off from there.
That was it, huh?
Yeah. Literally switched. Like I made my first club team, and then made varsity, and then I quit soccer. And I was a soccer player my whole life.
That's so funny.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I love soccer, but
Yeah.
volleyball is way more to my strengths, I guess.
Not as much running around, right?
Yeah. Running's not fun.
No, thank you.
Coming from a soccer player, me, no.
Not fun.
With me, I was in track and field. Again, running.
Yeah.
My mom was a runner, so I just wanted to follow her steps and just was really good at it, but never liked going to practice or, being a part of the running crew, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I tried volleyball and fell in love immediately. I knew it was my passion. I told my mom right after my first practice, I said, I'm done. I am playing volleyball. So that's when I knew for sure I will play for the rest of my life.
So you guys both got a collegiate experience. What kind of led you to the schools that you decided to go to? From, deciding to play volleyball, you guys both switched your sports, to then getting that opportunity, and like what that turned into for you guys, those collegiate experiences.
My college experience was awesome. The recruiting process was stressful for me. Definitely a quieter person, but I found a home and like a second family at Western Kentucky and that team and the coaching staff there. And so, I don't know, it just grew my love for the game more, because I was like, this is different than club. This is a family, and I just loved it.
For me, I did not know English before going to college. I had other offers from other colleges, but I went for FIU because I knew there was a big Spanish-speaking, people. And it was an international school, so I thought that was where I was going to be more comfortable for sure, at least starting. And again, the same thing. It was a family. There was 9 different countries in that team, so I didn't feel like I was, the odd girl coming from Puerto Rico and everybody else is from the same place. But yeah, I think FIU was perfect fit for me.
And then I know we'll start with you, Nati, that you've had 10 years professionally before getting to play here in the States. When you look back on just the way your professional career started to where it's led you to, when you reflect back on that, like your early days in professional volleyball, like what comes to mind first? What are the challenges or the high points or your favorite moments and memories?
To be honest, I never thought I had the chance to play professional. I grew up watching professional volleyball in Puerto Rico because we have a league. And ever since I was a little girl, I watched all these big names, come to Puerto Rico and perform and do great things, in the sport. And I don't know, I think I went step by step. That's one thing I always focus on, where I wanted to first get my degree and study. And then after that, then this opportunity came along of playing professional, and I took it. And then, again, I played professional. I did really well. And it just kept on going, step by step. But when I look back and I reflect on everything, it was meant to be my journey. There's nothing else I can say. I think my mom and my dad helped me a lot to stay grounded, just because obviously I'm undersized in this sport, but I'm very blessed to have the opportunity to play pro and actually, do it at a high level for a long time. This is actually my 13th pro season, so I played everywhere and always had great experiences. Other ones that made me grow as a player, and other ones just were just amazing, when you go to a team and everything just flows. So, yeah, I think that's what I can say about that.
Yeah, and I mean, Natalia, what do you like about the American version of pro volleyball? Because, Puerto Rico, I see you've been to Italy, Poland. So, each country obviously has their own way they do professional volleyball. How do you like it the way America and the PVF have done it so far?
Something that I'm always focus on, or I always take into consideration is adapting. I come from a culture of Puerto Rico where there's a lot of defense. We're smaller, but then Poland is not like that. They're big on blocking. And I always try to adapt to what the culture brings. I think USA is just, their system has always been very effective in international volleyball, and I think that's what I try to implement here. I think making everybody a part of the offense, for example, since I'm a setter, that's very important for American culture, and just being very clean. And I think that's one of the difference. Other places sometimes it's too chaotic. But again, you bring your strengths, and then whatever is your weakness, you make it better. But I think adapting to each culture and the way they play, it's key to be successful.
What made you want to be setter? Because, obviously you mentioned your height, and libero and setter kind of fit in that category. So what made you choose the setter versus the other?
Well, let me tell you, Geoff.
Yes.
Story time.
I was an outside hitter when I started.
Hey, there you go.
But I was not consistent at all. I wanted to jump serve, and I would one really good one and 3 errors after that, and then I will hit a really good hit, but then out of timing on I don't know. I was not good, a good outside hitter, period. And then somebody saw me play, and this coach, his name is Luis Papo Garcia from Puerto Rico, was your personality fits a setter, and you have good hands, you are moving to setter. And he did it right away. I had 3 months with him as an outside hitter, and he was like, "You're done. You have not improved." And I think it's the best change that I could have made, because it does fit my personality really well. So, yeah, that's how I started setting.
And when was that? What age were you when you made that switch?
I'm pretty sure I started at 11 and a half playing volleyball, and before I was 12.
Paige, for you, what did that journey look like, trying to find your position, switching from soccer and kind of jumping into it pretty quickly? How did you kind of feel out the game, and what made you fall in love with it?
Oh, boy. The story of my volleyball career. I started on a twos team. I was really bad. I actually set the bench every tournament. And I was a DS, and I wanted to be a setter, which is funny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wanted to be a setter at the beginning.
You actually have great hands. I'm not going to lie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I work on them. But I wanted to be a setter. I was made a DS, and I just slowly kept improving. And on that twos team on my first year playing, and then I slowly grew a little more. I was 5'3" at the beginning of that, and then I got to 5'8". So
good for you.
Yeah. You can jump and you should start hitting, and I was like, oh, okay. So I just loved the learning part of volleyball. Mm-hmm. It was something new every single day. There was something always to improve, and I just loved learning it all. But then being an outside hitter is fun because you get to do a lot. I just like touching the ball. Mm-hmm. That's why I wanted to be a setter, because you get to touch the ball almost every play.
Yeah, every other.
Yeah.
Actually, every play.
Yeah. Literally.
Just every other touch.
I just want to be a part of the play.
Yeah.
I don't want to just, they're touching it and I'm just running around. So that's probably it. Just I love the learning part of it all, but just I want to play. I just always loved to play.
Mm-hmm. Well, as we kind of like start to focus on, being here in Omaha and being a part of the Supernovas team, this program, when you guys, I know you've been here for a little bit, but when you maybe most specifically found out that your team was going to be Omaha in Omaha, Nebraska, is this what you expected?
Oh, I don't even know what I expected, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't know what pro looked like. I didn't know what this team would look like, especially being traded and drafted and then traded. I just was like, it's going to see how it goes, and we're going to trust the process. But it's been awesome.
Yeah.
For you, Natalia, like being in Omaha for a few years before this all developed, I'm sure you were a little bit more familiar that Nebraska loves this sport. But for you also, did you think it could become what it's kind of played out to be so far this season?
I had no doubt on Supernovas. I think the administration from the beginning was focused on what really was important, and I've been around long enough to understand that, to win the ultimate goal, which is a championship, it starts there. And I think the administration just blew my expectations, to be honest. So that's Supernovas. With the league, I again, you don't know. It's the first year. There's going to be some growing pains, But with this administration, I knew from the get-go they were going to do things the right way.
I heard you talking to Diane earlier, and you were talking about all the appearances you guys had to do early, like last summer, and people would see the logo or they hear the name and they're like, what's that? What, professional volleyball? What? And you were kind of going over all like your sales pitch over and over again. I'm sure it's like ingrained in your head. But from that point, like what was last summer like, just kind of being you and Gina in the community every day, putting the name out there before there was even a concept or a brand yet? Like what was that time like for you guys?
I call that the grind.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That was us grinding, like just every single weekend we did something. And the fact that all of us that were in it were so 100% in it too, just we sold it, It was a great group, but we were grinding really. Like it was a lot of getting the name out there because that's the foundation of it, You gotta, let people know that we're coming, here to Nebraska. But then after, we're just going to play volleyball. And we know they're going to fall in love because this is a volleyball state, So that was the grind part. And when I look back, I'm like, did we really do that much? We did a lot. Like, whoa, we did a lot. Especially Gina, because I left here in a little bit for like 7 weeks to go to Arizona and play Athletes Unlimited. And Gina was just here, like, constantly doing something. I was like, props to you. Made me proud for sure.
Did that make that first match even more rewarding for you specifically, knowing that you went from literally trying to let people know what the heck is coming and like, here's this name and here's this team, and then being able to see the community and the city and the state when you guys came out of that tunnel for the first time?
That was a really amazing feeling. I think I was more happy for the people backstage, everybody that started the team, and just step by step, all those people that worked so hard. I was really happy we broke a record, So I mean, I feel like it was more to them than it was, for us.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are at the halfway point. What's the assessment to how are you guys gelling as a unit? So like how can you recap the mid-season so far?
Go ahead.
No, I think it has been, again, we came in here not knowing one another, and building a culture. Because when you go to college, the culture's already made, Here, it's a new thing. We're very adamant to each other that our culture is going to be, we're going to be relentless, and we're going to just support each other. We knew from the moment everybody signed in this team, we were all good. And that was at the beginning. Now in the mid of the season, our competitiveness is so high that I think that's what's prepared us for games. Like I feel like in practice sometimes don't you agree?
It's
like
so competitive.
So competitive, and it's a very healthy, competitive, I would say. And that just makes us better each day, because if if you have 3 people here that didn't care and then you had 12 over here that did, still not going to work, you know? Because anytime that one of those 3 that don't care are in, it's going to bring the level down. Every single player in this team cares. And that's so important for our growth. And, you know, again, like not everything's perfect or pink and roses, you know? There are growing pains as well for us as a group. And, you know, having certain people leave the team, certain people come in late, that changes the dynamic of everything. But I think we're just seamless, you know, when it comes to all those changes.
Yeah, and I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead, Paige.
No, go ahead.
I was asking for both of you, too, because I think part of that culture is something that all of us here have noticed, just how much fun you guys have, both practice, matches, and even traveling on the road with you guys. I mean, you guys have so much fun. Was something that you guys established early to make sure it's like, hey, we're just going to have fun, or is that just something that came natural as you guys all, like, just came together as a unit?
Oh, definitely natural. I feel like we just gelled.
Very organic.
Yeah.
100%.
Just having fun on the court, off the court, talking to everybody, everyone. I'm comfortable with everybody, especially as a newcomer. I was worried about that. I was like, what's going to happen?
Right. I think there's a good mix of, you know, experienced players and then youth, but youth that understands what a professional is. Oh. So I think it meets right there, you know.
Now, who's the biggest jokester?
Oh, gosh.
I was going to say Maggie.
Maggie or you?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I do have I'm always joking, but do you think? No, there's some other people.
Oh. Yeah, definitely.
Like Tori's like a quiet joker too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't really know all the time what she's saying, but you know she's saying something on the back.
Yes.
On the flip side, who's the most serious that you kind of have to jab into and be like, hey, have a little fun here? Is there anyone that's too serious sometimes? Is everyone pretty much a jokester? In their own way.
Yeah. Serious? I need the roster.
You're thinking hard right now.
I need the names so I get
Sometimes I see Betty as really serious, but now I've got to know her more.
Right.
Nah.
I think that's just her personality.
Yeah.
But she is a jokester.
She is. She actually is.
Very much.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Because now that you say, like, watching you guys all play, you know, I think we all have our perceptions of you guys, and like Betty's always like, she's on, you know, like she's always on.
Like intense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I was in a staring match across her, then I'd be like, okay, I'll blink first. I'm sorry.
Like 3 seconds. Serious.
You got me. You're good. I think that's interesting you guys say that, because I always wonder, you know, you guys haven't been together for what, more than 6 months, essentially, from the first day you had some of these camps. What were like the first practice when you guys all, or even I think it was maybe like the media day, when you guys all were in the same place for the first time? Was it like this, like, oh, I kind of knew you at one point before, or like I knew a couple of these girls, so like we'll kind of start welcoming some others? How did that kind of work to just, it's a brand new concept, it's a brand new team. How did that all, like, how did the gelling process even look for you guys?
I mean, looking back, I think, again, it happened organically, but also I think everybody was open-minded.
Yeah. And
that helped for us to, like, actually, like, clicked. And, like, being open-minded but also respectful of people. And I think after that, once you get to know people, it just happens pretty quickly, actually, for us, I would say. Quick. But it's not the norm on other teams. I think we have a very special group.
Yeah. For Paige, you specifically, and you know, you're coming right off college, and even though this is a new concept for everyone, you're playing professionally for the first time, and you have so many girls around you with so many years of experience, whether it be, you know, their national team or their Olympians. Like, how much have you drawn, like, knowledge from those girls and just watching them on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, I'm just soaking it all in. They give me information all the time about, have you thought about this? Have you done this? What about this? And I'm like, oh, never thought about that. Or, oh, that's really, really smart. So I'm absorbing it all. And that's a lot at times, I gotta say, but I'm enjoying it. I love that learning part of it. And they're amazing, amazing people, but amazing volleyball players that are just here, have this information so you can grow. It's so fun.
I mean, I love that she says I'm soaking it all in, because maybe other people didn't have this opportunity to know these young.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's not taking it for granted, it just makes me happy. Like, my respect for you grows, really, because some other people would just take it for granted.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I knew a lot of the things that I know now earlier in my career, but I didn't have that opportunity. You know, I had to go, grow, and learn it on my own, pretty much. So props for you, Paige, really.
Yeah, keep going. Keep telling me all the stuff. I need it.
Yeah, like on the flip side for you, like what do you feel like those things that you want to pass down to them? You're like, okay, if I would have known earlier, this would be the one or two things that like I want to make sure you guys know. Like what are some of those drawn experiences that you feel like you've been able to share with them?
I could say a lot of things about setting, but specifically just being a professional, I can say, you know, work hard, do it for you, know your body. You know, it's not only on the court, but also off the court where you have to take care of yourself. And it takes a lot of sacrifices. And at times you don't really know what's a sacrifice or not, but then you look back and you're like, whoa, sacrifice a lot to be at this level for this long. And yeah, it's not just show up and play, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's something I can tell the young ones. And I think they know it too. They're pretty smart.
Yeah, I mean, how has the level and pace of play improved since the beginning of the year? Not just for you guys, but maybe playing other teams around the league. Because, for example, I'll point out San Diego. They started out, 2-6, just something not very good record-wise. But all of a sudden now they're building up, and all of a sudden now they're just a couple games out of the playoffs. So how has the level of play have you seen evolved over the course of the season?
Definitely evolved. Everyone's gotten more comfortable together and just definitely scouted other teams better. And as the beginning of the season was, we didn't have much on them. But it's gotten so much better. And whether I'm in or not, it's very fun to watch and very fun to see what people are doing at this high level.
Yeah, I think at first nobody knows anybody, you know. Also, like, you can know a player, but you don't know him in a team. So that also takes time, you know, for you to know. Now we play everybody 4 times, so by the 4th time, everybody knows what everybody's doing, you know. Yeah. Like, it's like people think it's easier. No, actually, it's harder, you know. But I think the level has grown because I think people are trying to do things that they're not comfortable with to be able to score, you know, because at this point, again, you're all scouted. They know what you can do in what situation. Now people are going for different things that they might miss one day, but then they might not next game, you know. So that makes the league grow for sure and the level.
To get into like the, you know, nitty-gritty of the volleyball, like when you are playing a team 4 times and they know your ins and outs, like what does that look like on the court? Like what are you guys having to implement and change? Or like you said, you have to become more creative to score. What does that look like for you guys specifically, especially as a setter when you're dictating so much of that offense? Kind of what goes into finding ways to be creative?
For me, I don't overthink it, definitely. I think we know our strengths and our weaknesses. We just got to find the other team's weaknesses at the moment. So sometimes I go by feeling, to be honest. I play the game and whatever I'm feeling, this is what I'm going to do. Like any sport, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, you know. But I try not to overthink it because just the fact that they know what I'm about to do doesn't mean they're going to execute on it. So yeah, I trust our training and our players and what they can do. And then it's almost like we cross that bridge when it comes.
Yeah,
you know?
I get you. Well, we kind of just mentioned you're going to play Atlanta here again. They had, you know, you played them open the season, play them again. You'll have another time. We're almost to the 4th time. But when you guys assess where you guys have come from opening match, I should say, to where you guys are at now with about 8 matches left, just where would you guys assess where this team's started and how you guys have grown just as a team? I know you guys have an end goal in mind. How do you guys get there?
Definitely being competitive in practice and then finding those little things that we need to clean up in order to get one more point. How do we get 1% better? How do we get 1 more point? Definitely.
I mean, the thing that I personally ask myself every day is, what am I doing today that's going to help me win at the end? What is it that I'm doing individually for this team that's going to help this team, you know, get there and perform there, you know? So I think majority of us have that mentality. And even though we don't talk about it, it's just you feel it in the gym.
Mm-hmm. Just being present with everybody, with every point, with every practice, being present.
And intentional too.
Yes.
We talked about that today a lot.
We did.
I'd say, what kind of rivalry is there with Atlanta?
I would say none.
Really? None?
I mean, personally, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a team, maybe. I don't know why, but I take every team the same.
Okay.
I go to the gym, and whoever's across that net, I want to beat. So it doesn't matter what it says on their shirt.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I feel like there's a rivalry every game. Like, we're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's us against them. Us against them.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
Do you guys feel like that's kind of evolved as the season's gone on? There's like, it, you know, at first everyone's just like just excited and happy to have this league and it's great. And obviously that will still keep happening. But now there's been like some where you're like, no.
Not you. Not today, not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Has that been kind of fun to see happen over time, like very quickly in this league?
Definitely. I think the rivalry things happen. It's just noise outside.
Yeah.
It's just fans and
Yeah.
people. They're just distractions.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really. Again, whoever is across that net, that's who we're gonna beat. And period.
Like, I know Geoff gets to go on the road with you guys here and there, but for the people that aren't on the road, we don't really know what the experiences are like away from Omaha. So maybe we're kind of biased about what the Omaha experience is like for you guys when we get to experience it with you at the home court. What is it like playing at home and at CHI versus when you are on the road? Like, are we biased by saying it's one of the best atmospheres or no?
No. It is the best.
It is the best.
Is it?
Yeah. It is very fun. It's very loud all the time, and just you can feel people's energy. You can't always feel that in other people's gyms.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
So it makes sense that the championships will be coming to Omaha in May.
Yes.
Yeah?
It does.
that's very exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Does that add an extra amount of pressure to this team, or is that maybe an extra push that this team needed kind of right in the middle of the season to be like, well, it's coming to our court, so we have something in mind that we want to accomplish?
Yeah. Bird talked about it while we had that home stretch, defending our home court. Just having that pride in that this is our home court. We want to defend it. We want to play well in front of at home, but in front of our fans, and just
Yeah.
It's something we did talk about.
We did. And Paige just said it too, just staying present too. So that helps us, you know, because you can't look too in front of it, you know. We got to do what we got to do now to then think about later. Yeah.
Well, before we kind of wrap it all up, of course, want to know just about some of the fun stuff you guys get to enjoy here in Omaha. I know Omaha's been home for you for a little bit. Have you kind of been like the tour guide to everyone lately?
They usually ask me about restaurants because I love eating out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty much.
Do we have like a list? Do we have like
I
some
do.
I would
favorites?
say I want to know the favorites.
Yeah, can we get a couple of...
Oh, a couple of it?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Gather.
Oh, never been.
Downtown,
Okay.
Old Market.
Okay.
I love Le Bouillon, also is Old Market.
Okay.
There's a new one also downtown called Memoir.
Memoir, I've been there.
So
Good.
nice.
Mhm.
It doesn't feel like you're in Omaha.
No, it
either.
doesn't. Yeah.
I love Timber. I can keep going. I have like 20 in my head right now.
Really? That's impressive because someone asked me, I'm like, I know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, give us a few more. I'm so intrigued.
Yes, I'm too.
Yeah, there's another new one I just went. It's called Salted Edge. It's West.
It's in Waterloo.
Yes.
I talked about it yesterday.
So nice.
So good.
So good.
Okay.
Yes. Another one that is a little bit more casual and I love, it's Pitch.
Good fries.
Yep.
Tavern 180 also I love.
I was just there for your Easter last week.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Very good. Their brunch is delicious.
Yeah.
There's Mula for Mexicans.
So good.
Yeah, okay.
There's some Italians that I love. One is Avoli, Dundee. There's a breakfast place I love. They're also good looking.
Okay. We need like a Nazi's suggestion.
Yes.
Like one weekly.
I'm telling you, I love eating out. That's like one thing I love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Paige, have you found any good spots?
I don't venture out a lot, I gotta say. I've been just, I don't know, sticking by the apartments, I gotta say. So
I think
I'll try all those.
Yeah, try them all.
Yeah, you should. We really do need to find. We should do that. We need like a food series now.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Yeah, because I need them.
Just text me anytime you're going out. Hey,
Yeah.
where should I go tonight? I'll text you.
Okay, perfect. I might actually do that. I think it was Kendall last week who said this is like a big coffee shop team. Like this team likes coffee shops. Have we found any of those? Like we nailed down some favorites there?
I'm obsessed with Hardy Coffee.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Is it called the Mill?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also
That
love
one's
the Mail.
beautiful.
Yeah. I do like that one a lot.
Yeah.
There is Stories too.
Stories.
Have a couple.
Yeah.
I like that one too. There's some downtown that are. Why can't I remember the name right now? Ooh, I'm failing here.
Is Nick here? Nick, I think we need to do a Nati's restaurant tour. Can we do that? A restaurant coffee shop tour with Nati. Can we do that?
Oh my gosh, I'm so down.
Okay.
Woo! These every day. You know, I got Starbucks here, but sorry, Starbucks not my favorite.
We need a local sponsor.
Yep. Local.
Perfect.
For sure, local.
Yeah. Well, we thank you guys so much for joining us. We can't wait to follow along for, the next, 9 matches?
Championship
It's going
push.
quick. Yeah, and then we have championship week.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's
Well,
flown
thank you
by.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
This was great.